On divorce court today. Marrying a younger man is one thing. Marrying a guy your son's age could be a problem. Nora was shocked to find out that her husband was only 18 when they met. Nora Silva and Jesus Moreno have brought their dispute for Judge Lynn Toller to resolve. Testimony in divorce court starts now.
Ms. Silva, I just gonna start with this. When you met him, you were 39 years old, correct?
Yes.
And how old was he?
18, I believe.
Now, first of all, if it was the other way around, everybody'd be like, ooh. But let me ask you, at 39, what did he say that was interesting to you?
Not a thing. It was just the way he looked, the way...
So he just looked good?
He looked good. He asked me to dance. He danced good. He seemed like a nice gentleman.
He looked good. He danced well. Did the age ever become an issue?
No.
No.
No, not at all.
And it still won't.
It still won't be an issue.
Nope.
And you're gonna keep her too, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, Mr. Moreno, did your friends talk about you, saying, well, why you dating an older lady?
I did. You know what I told them?
What'd you tell them?
I said I like older women because younger women don't know what they want.
And the older women do?
Yes,
I
do.
like that thought pattern. Because I'm not getting any younger. I like to have options. You have a child that's almost just a year younger than him.
A year older.
A year older than him. Did it bother you at all that he was 18?
Well, I didn't find out till later that he was his age, because when we met, he told me he was 30. And
he said he was 30?
Yes, ma'am.
And you believed it?
Yes, I did. I'm a very trusting person, and I believe people for what they say and do as time goes. And time passed before I realized his age.
He wasn't 30?
Right. And,
what was the tip-off?
The tip-off was when he turned 21 and he went down to the street corner store and bought beer, and he came home all excited because they did
his first legal beer?
Yes.
And gave it away.
And gave it away. So he gave it away. But by that time, my kids already knew him, and he's a good man, and he did a lot for my kids, and he genuinely loves my kids. Mm-hmm. And so it didn't bother them as well.
Okay. Mr. Moreno?
Yes, ma'am.
What was your initial attraction to her?
Everything.
Everything?
Everything.
That's the only right answer any man could ever give to that question. I'm just saying. Why are we here now?
Because 13 years after we met, he cheated. Mm-hmm. And it was very hurtful.
Tell me who he cheated with, when, how, what happened, how you found out. He's breaking out in a sweat already. Go ahead, Mrs. Silva.
What happened was I was at work and I had my my cell phone on to do my business with, call the nurses that I worked with, and I had my iPad on for music. His phone had broken, so he had used my iPad to get on his Facebook.
Okay.
Well, he forgot to log off. And so he came home early that day, made supper, and he was a very good man. He always bought me flowers, bought me goodies, bought me gifts, made supper, washed dishes.
He was attentive, loving, kind.
So he had posted about coming home early and making supper. And one of his female friends commented or liked his comment, which I didn't have a problem with that. But his laptop at that point did the little popping bubble noise that meant somebody's got a Facebook message. And so when I opened it, she had messaged him. And the comment was something like, I think it is so neat the way that you include your wife in everything that you do. Hopefully one day soon, I'll be able to meet a man like you.
Well, what's wrong with that?
Nothing. The only hint that it gave me that there was something wrong with it was that she did it privately messaged. Nobody else saw it. So to me, that's saying a woman is fishing for a man. And so sure enough, a couple of weeks after that is when he cheated with her.
Oh, so you have it right and I had it wrong. It just said there was something going on there and you found out about it. How did you find out he actually cheated with her?
I didn't find out it was her he cheated with until a time later, because I allowed things to happen, that might make me look like a fool, but usually it's because I already know what's going on. And like I've told my husband, I just love him that much.
That you put up with it?
But yes, and I don't dig into things. But because of the way things happened, I dug into it, and sure enough, when I found out the number he called that morning, early enough on the day that he cheated was her phone number.
Mr. Moreno, can you explain to me what happened? Did you in fact cheat?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
And
I told her I was going to work one day. I didn't even go to work. I went to her house.
was this the first time, or have you been tipping for a minute?
It was the first time. With her.
With her. So have you been cheating on her regularly throughout the marriage?
Since 2005.
Since 2000, so yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you why, and it seems like a stupid question, but it seems to me that that's just how you were conducting business. Were you not happy at home? Do you just like a whole lot of women? You just didn't want to be married?
I got married with her when I was 18. I got with her when I was 18, 32. I didn't have no fun. I wanted to have fun. So I started going out and having fun.
That would explain to me something that you said in your response to her petition, which I thought was very, very interesting. And I have it here. You said, and I underlined it in red, I thought we had a good marriage, but I just wanted to try something different.
That's right.
Did you tell her about that when you first had that thought, or was the cheating going on ahead of that?
The cheating was already going on.
Already going on. Did you think that she suspected you of
Yes,
cheating? Did you suspect him all along
No.
since 2005?
No. His behavior changed. My daughter was 16, so I thought it was like 2006. His behavior changed with me.
When you actually found out that he was cheating, were you shocked, surprised? How did it make you feel to find out that he'd been doing that so long?
I didn't know he was doing it for so long. It was just that day that I found out.
Uh-huh.
And it was like my soul was taken out of my body and stepped on. And I didn't want to talk about it because I didn't want to cry. But it was a hurt that I never want to feel again.
Okay.
The only way I can explain it is, I'm going to say us Hispanics, maybe other people do it, but, when someone dies and a loved one goes up to the casket and they cry with this agonizing pain, like they want that person to just get
That
up and
wail.
walk right there and then. That's how I sounded. And the way that I sounded brought my daughter into the room to find out what was going on.
Next, is the bond between Jesus and Nora's sons strong enough to keep this marriage together? Divorce isn't easy. If you need help with your breakup, call toll-free 1-877-311-2222 or visit our website at divorcecourt.com. Become a fan at facebook.com/divorcecourt. Divorce Court, real relationships, raw emotion. Testimony continues now.
Mr. Moreno, I understand your reasoning. You were 18 when you got married. You never had a chance to sow your wild oats. I get all of that. What made you want to get married at 18?
We were happy. It was a happy couple. We were doing things, going everywhere, doing things, and it just went south.
But what went south? How do you say it went south?
A lot of arguments, arguing.
About?
About just a lot of, we've had a lot of people live at our house. So there's always been arguments about.
What, relatives?
Yeah,
Or
and other
whose
people.
relatives, hers or yours?
Hers.
Okay.
Mine now.
And that bothered you? It was too much going on?
It was just too much.
I understand,
They had
yeah,
4 families in one house in a 3-bedroom.
Was that, do you believe that was a cause of a lot of the problem?
It probably added to the stress of it, yes. Yeah. But most of our arguments was because he always accused me of cheating. He
Did you? Now, that's because you were cheating and you thought she was doing the same to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Just guilty conscience going on?
Yes, ma'am.
Can I ask you this? Financially, I'm going to ask you, how was he a contributing member of the family?
Oh, always.
Always a contributing member of the family. So he never sugar mamaed you?
Oh, never. Well,
no, I raised her kids.
Yeah, he raised my kids.
Her
he was a very giving man.
She's 22 now.
You said something about that in your paper. She said, now that you two are apart, that you feel like you've been separated from those kids that you had raised, and you're upset by that. Is that true?
No, not really. Because I'm communicating with my daughter. And her sons are the ones I'm not communicating with.
Do you miss that?
A little bit, but you know.
But that was their decision. You don't
their
claim that it's her
decision, yeah,
decision.
exactly.
So she could do as well. Did you ever feel sugar mama at all, Mrs. Silva? You seem not to have been sugar mama,
No.
but I'm just checking.
No, I didn't feel that way, but he did share that he had mentioned that, and I mean, it made me laugh because it's like you had a sugar mama for 13 years, you know, but he mentioned that, you know, we were married at 18. We met when he was 18.
Right.
But we married in 2005, which he's saying that he started cheating in 2005, this is the first time I hear about that. And so my thought is, why even ask me to get married if that's when you started cheating? You know, we married in 2005.
That is deep, though, Miss Silva. Doesn't make any sense at all.
Exactly.
Can you help us out with that, Mr. Moreno, at all?
I can't.
Did you have any concerns that since you were marrying a guy 21 years younger than you are, that you would run into the issue of him having not done all of the, you know, running around that he needed to do?
No, because we did a lot of those things together. We would go out drinking, dancing, you know, bowling, whatever, partying, you know, friends. We always had friends over. There's nothing that he wanted to do that I'd say no to. You know, as long as we were together, it didn't matter to me.
What made you decide to work out in 2013?
I wasn't going to be treating her like that, and I wasn't going to do her no more wrong.
Did you feel badly about it?
I felt bad about it.
Was that because it was the first time she actually caught you?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
All right. Did you want him to leave, or did you want him to stay and try and work it out?
I think that if things would not have happened the way that they did, I would have probably gone more years without knowing. But he was covered in hickeys.
Yeah, I got you.
So there's just no way, I mean,
Yeah.
if it hadn't been for that.
Given who did what to whom in this circumstance, I find it interesting that, Ms. Silva, you brought this suit for the damage that he did to your clothes, and I got to figure out how he managed to do that to you when you were the person who was hurt to begin with.
Right.
When Divorce Court continues, was this marriage simply too much for a young man looking for security?
Do you think it was wrong for Nora to marry a man nearly 20 years younger than she? Call 1-800-282-1991 to vote now and see if America agrees with your opinion. You'll also receive some valuable offers. Call 1-800-282-1991.
If you would like your case heard on Divorce Court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at divorcecourt.com and join the conversation on Twitter at Divorce Court. Divorce Court continues.
Here's the question I have for you, Ms. Silva. Did you get what you expected out of the marriage for as long as it lasted? Did you get the needs filled? You know, what you were looking for from him?
Yes.
But for the cheating, you'd still be with him?
Yes.
Would you take him back if he asked to come back to you right now today?
No, because he has a lot of work to do on his honesty.
Right. Mr. Moreno, if she wanted you back, would you go back?
No.
Why not?
Because I'm not trying to be married no more.
You know, yeah, it just wasn't the time for you.
I want to be single and do my thing.
You want to be single? You want to do your thing?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How's your thing going?
It's going awesome,
Is it
actually.
going all right?
Awesome.
Okay. When you left, how did you do it?
What do you mean?
When you decided this marriage wasn't for you anymore, were you a jerk about it? Were you kind? How do you end like, I just don't want to be in it anymore? How did that conversation go?
I was real ugly with her, I'll be honest with you.
Okay.
There was a lot of verbal cussing and all that.
From you or her?
From me to her. And then in the long run, I thought about it, and it was wrong what I did.
So you kind of made her the bad guy in your head so you could feel good about leaving her. So you said a lot of ugly things in order to make yourself feel...
Yes.
Did you ever apologize for that?
I still apologize to her.
Does he?
Yes.
People do that often. When they're leaving and it's their fault, they often find some reason to dislike you, so it makes it easier for them so they don't feel badly about it. And I always like people to get an apology for that, to recognize that pain and that hurt and say, it wasn't you, it was me.
It was me.
And it was my bad, and I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you went there, so I appreciate that. Was he nasty to you throughout the course of the relationship? Or was that something that just occurred as he was about to exit?
As he was about to exit.
Right? So during the course of the relationship, he was just good guy.
Yes.
If you had a main complaint about Ms. Silva, what would it be? None?
No.
You left a woman you didn't have any problems with at all. It's just that you wanted to be single.
I want to be single.
I got it. I got it.
I want to be single and live my life. And I work, and that's all I got to do. Work.
You
every
work?
day. Yes, ma'am.
And you have kids?
And I pay child support.
How many kids you have?
4.
4 kids? Different women?
Older women.
Could you stop that? Seriously, could you stop that? Because what happens is when you got a guy who's just leaving kids hither and yon, they don't have a father figure in the home. They got rotating lovers of the mothers, but they don't have a guy who's right there. And for the girls, that is like the first guy that comes at them, they're going to want him because they're missing that male figure. You do damage when you don't stay in the home, and you know what I mean? So could you stop?
I still pay child support.
And I appreciate that you pay child support, but that's only a portion of what they need from a father. They need your physical presence. It changes who they are, what they do, and how they see themselves and life. And you make it difficult for them to do certain things correctly because you just aren't there. You with me on that one?
Y'all listening?
Okay. Well, hear it, feel it, then do it.
Judge Lynn Toller's ruling next. Divorce Court. Judge Lynn Toller's ruling right now.
So, Mrs. Silva, tell me what happened to your clothing, because usually it happens the other way around. A woman gets cheated on, she gets mad at him and, takes all of his left shoes and leaves him the right shoe. He messed up your clothing. Tell me what he did, when he did it, and how much it was worth.
Well, on this weekend, I had gone to Alice for a high school reunion meeting. And so he took my clothes down to my bras and underwear, took important papers, shoes, everything out of my closet, out of my home, and took it with him. So when I finally got it back, it was all in a trash bag. And so when I opened it, I thought he had thrown up over it. But the more that I realized and went back to that Sunday, because I had gotten home and I thought, what is all this sugar and ketchup on the floor? And my grandson's like, oh, Papa did that because he was angry. So I swept it up.
Sugar and ketchup?
Ketchup, yes, ma'am.
On your clothes?
And so he had put the sugar and ketchup all over my clothes.
Mixed it up in a bag and brought it back to you?
Well, and somebody else got it from him and brought it back to me.
And brought it back to you. Mr. Moreno, what did that happen?
Yes, ma'am.
What were you thinking?
I was mad.
Because? What were you mad about? I mean...
Because she was in Alice at a dance. She wasn't at a reunion, she was at a dance.
Were you still married at this time?
Yes.
You were still cheating on her?
Yeah.
So you were sleeping with other women, but you got mad because she was at a dance.
And she wasn't trying to answer my phone calls.
And she wouldn't answer your phone calls.
So I got aggravated. Instead of breaking all the windows in the house, I got all her clothes, and I got the sugar and ketchup, and I mixed it on her clothes. Threw it in a bag, and I took it with me.
How much do you believe these items are worth, Mrs. Silva?
Not more than $400.
Yeah, about $400. Do you think you did damage to about $400 worth of clothing?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, well, you got to pay for that, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, let me say this, Mr. Moreno. I can't get too angry with you because you were a kid, you tried to do an adult thing, realized you weren't able to do it, and went back to your childhood. But I think you went back and cleaned up that mess as best you could, and I appreciate the fact that you did that. So I can't get so angry. Mrs. Silva, when you marry a guy that's that young, that's how old they are. And guys, get interesting at 30, if you ask me. I mean, you know what I mean? Because they're done with all the rest of that silly stuff, and they think upwardly instead of lowerly. You know what I mean? You can't pretend he's an age other than what he is and what that really means psychologically and emotionally. You with me on that one? So, have fun with the young ones, just don't keep them. And having said that, it is $400 in favor of Miss Silva. It is so ordered.
Nora and Jesus respect the judge's ruling and have moved on. Post a comment or submit your case at divorcecourt.com or call toll-free 1-877-311-2222. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Divorce Court.